In the most glorious years of classic Hollywood, when the most beautiful faces on the silver screen were adored by the whole world, few would have guessed that behind those radiant smiles and prestigious awards lay a story so painful it nearly took the life of one of the greatest living legends. Rita Moreno, the first Puerto Rican woman to conquer all four of the biggest awards in the entertainment industry, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, carried with her a dark secret that Hollywood tried to hide for decades. It wasn't just a story of talent and resilience. It was the journey of a heart shattered again and again under the weight of racial prejudice, exploitation, and a chaotic, toxic romance with Marlon Brando. So destructive that she once used Elvis Presley as revenge, driving the king of rock and roll mad with jealousy. If you want me to explore any more movies, TV shows, or Hollywood secrets, just comment right below. And I'm Ryan. Please like and subscribe to the channel to start exploring the main content of this video with me. Early struggles and Hollywood breakthrough. Rita Moreno was born in 1931 in Puerto Rico. When she was only 6, her whole family left their homeland for New York. The brutal winter cold of the Northeast wasn't what scared the 7-year-old girl the most. What really hurt far more were the racist stares and the racial slurs she heard every single day on the streets, at school, and later in the entertainment industry itself. A Puerto Rican girl in the heart of the big city, that was something Hollywood would never stop reminding her of, whether subtly or outright. At just 11 years old, Rita started earning her own money with her talent. She got paid to dub the Spanish versions of American movies. It was her first job, but it was also the earliest sign that her life would be shaped by her ethnicity. Hollywood didn't just see her as talent, they saw her as a tool to reach Latin audiences. That painful truth followed her for decades, even after she became a star. At 13, Rita made her Broadway debut in the play Skydrift. It was a turning point. Her talent caught the attention of powerful people in the industry, including Louis B. Mayer. She started getting called one of the most promising young artists. But Broadway back then was no paradise for Latinx performers either. The roles she was offered were usually limited to the outsider, the foreigner, or symbolic supporting characters, rather than roles with real depth. Rita saw that clearly early on, but she never let it stop her. You know, right from the very beginning of her time in show business, Rita endured one of the worst things a woman can go through. Her own agent, the person who was supposed to protect and support her career, used his power to violate her. It was an act of violence she kept secret for years, not just out of fear, but because of the lifelong war she fought with her own self-worth. She was terrified that if she spoke up, she would be seen as a victim, judged, and her young career would be destroyed. Hollywood in those days didn't encourage women, especially women of color, to speak out against powerful men. They owned your contract, and in many cases, they believed they owned your life too. In 1961, the role that would define her career arrived. Rita was cast as Anita in West Side Story, the classic musical that later became one of Hollywood's most important films. She didn't just act brilliantly. She poured every ounce of her singing and dancing talent into the part. The role of Anita made Rita the first Latina to win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in a musical. It was a historic moment, a breakthrough many thought would open bigger doors for Latinx actors. But reality wasn't that simple. Even after winning the Oscar, Rita still faced Hollywood's harsh truth. Her film career had sharp ups and downs. After the peak, she got very few roles with real depth. Most opportunities were still ethnic characters that repeated the same stereotypes she had fought to escape. Sometimes she took summer stock theater or television work just to stay visible. Rita once said honestly that she really wanted to be Elizabeth Taylor, a true star recognized for her talent and beauty, not defined by where she came from. But she knew, as a Latina, that chance was almost non-existent. And she was right. Still, Rita never let the disappointments break her. She kept working, kept building her name on stage and television, and most importantly, she never lost her sense of self. Her radiant smile and unbreakable spirit became a symbol for generations that came after. But while the public saw a successful, glowing woman, behind that was a personal story far more complicated and painful than most could imagine. The passionate and toxic romance with Brando. In 1954, when she was just 22, Rita Moreno met Marlon Brando on the set of the biographical film Desiree, where he played Napoleon. It was the moment that changed the entire course of her life. On the very first day they met, Rita felt an attraction so powerful she could barely describe it. She later shared that just seeing Brando made her body temperature shoot up like she had been dropped into a scalding hot bath, and she would blush from head to toe. It was the kind of feeling that inspires poetry and the most romantic songs. Rita felt like an invisible net had been thrown over both of them, pulling her toward Marlon with a force she couldn't resist. And Brando felt the same pull. He didn't even try to hide it. The romance started hot and passionate. Brando was an incredible lover who made Rita feel things she had never felt with anyone before. He made her believe this could be real love, the relationship she had always wanted. But it didn't take long for the dark side to appear. Marlon Brando was a womanizer. He cheated constantly, both physically and emotionally. Throughout the 7 years they were together, Rita knew he had other women. He even got married and had children while their relationship was still going on. Every time she found out about another betrayal, another piece of Rita's heart broke. But she couldn't walk away. Rita became addicted to trying to win Marlon Brando's whole heart over and over, even though he only ever gave her a fraction of it. She wanted to be his wife. She wanted the perfect relationship she had always dreamed of. Brando, on the other hand, seemed completely unable to give her that. He was the perfect example of a woman chasing validation from a man who could never give it. Their relationship was incredibly sensual and passionate, but it was also filled with chaos and pain. The constant betrayals wounded Rita more and more deeply. She said Brando shattered her heart and nearly crushed her spirit with his physical cheating, and worse, his emotional betrayal. But she stayed. She kept trying. She kept hoping this time he would change. It was a loop with no end, and Rita eventually realized she was looking for love from someone who could never give it to her. Then, one day, everything became impossible to ignore. Rita found another woman's underwear in Marlon Brando's house. She was completely destroyed, literally. The wound was too deep, too humiliating, and it became a turning point in how she saw the relationship. But instead of giving up, Rita chose a revenge move almost no one saw coming, and it drove Marlon Brando absolutely crazy with jealousy. An unexpected call came from Colonel Parker, Elvis Presley's manager. He told her Elvis had noticed Rita at an event at 20th Century Fox and really wanted to meet her. Rita immediately saw the opportunity. She knew exactly how jealous Marlon Brando would be if she started dating Presley, the biggest rock and roll star in the world at that moment. She agreed to go out with Elvis. They went on a few dates. Even though Rita didn't find Elvis particularly interesting or attractive, she got exactly what she wanted out of it. When Brando found out, he lost it. He flew into a rage, threw chairs, and showed his jealousy in public. Rita later said the only real pleasure she got from that short fling with Elvis came from one simple fact. She knew nobody could make Marlon Brando more jealous than Elvis Presley. That was how she got back at him for all the cheating, for all the times she found proof of other women right in his own home. At the same time, Rita admitted it wasn't healthy behavior. It was just another part of the toxic relationship they were both trapped in. Tragedy, rock bottom, and confrontation. More than 50 years after her romance with Marlon Brando ended, Rita Moreno still kept the habit of using his favorite cologne, the masculine fragrance that Brando dedicated to women. Every time she breathed in that scent, memories of his smooth, glossy skin and sweet breath would come rushing back. That was how she held on tightly to the past, even when that past had nearly killed her. A small detail, but one full of weight, showing that some wounds, even when healed on the surface, still leave marks that can never be erased from the heart. But a much greater, darker tragedy was still waiting ahead. After repeated betrayals and her short-lived revenge affair with Elvis Presley, Rita Moreno fell into one of the most painful periods of her life. She became pregnant with Marlon Brando's child. In the 1950s, when abortion was still illegal and heavily condemned, Brando arranged an illegal abortion for her. But things did not go as planned. The fetus died inside her body, and Rita had to be rushed to the hospital in critical condition for emergency surgery to remove it. That was not only a physical tragedy, but also a devastating emotional shock, a wound she would carry for a very long time afterward. After she recovered, those emotional wounds were torn open again when she learned Brando was involved with Rita Moreno, the Tahitian actress he met while filming Mutiny on the Bounty. Rita later became Brando's third wife in 1962, and they had 2 children together. For Rita, the news hit like a sharp blade slicing into scars that were still bleeding. She had tried to end the relationship many times before, but this time the despair felt overwhelming. Rita attempted suicide at Marlon Brando's own house. It was the lowest point of her life when everything seemed to collapse completely. She wanted to end it all, the pain, the betrayals, and the endless search for love from someone who could never give it to her fully. But fortunately, Rita survived. She found help through therapy. Meeting the right therapist changed everything. She began to understand the wounds from her past more clearly, not only from her relationship with Brando, but also from earlier experiences in her career. Rita remembered how studios often required contracted actresses to go on fake dates with men the studio chose just to maintain a certain public image. She had been forced to date people she felt nothing for. And once you signed with a major studio, they practically owned your entire life. This exploitation didn't stop at work. It invaded her personal and emotional world as well. Therapy helped Rita realize she deserved respect and that staying silent in the face of injustice was not a way to survive for long. Meanwhile, Rita's career kept moving forward, though not without ups and downs. In 1961, after the huge success of West Side Story and her Oscar win, she still had to struggle with the reality that Hollywood wasn't ready to give her the roles she deserved. She worked in summer stock, appeared on television, and slowly rebuilt her image as a versatile performer. But the personal secrets she kept hidden, the suicide attempt, the failed pregnancy, the earlier abuses, became a burden she carried alone. The bright smile on screen hid so much pain the public never knew about. Then, in 1969, another chance to work with Marlon Brando came along. They co-starred in The Night of the Following Day. In one scene, Rita had to slap Brando. When they shot it, she drew her hand back and hit him hard across the face. He pulled her in and slapped her back. But that moment cracked open an old, deep scar. Rita started screaming at Brando all the words she had held back for years. She screamed about how he had used her while seeing other women, about the betrayals, about all the pain she had endured. It was an explosive outburst, everything buried for so long suddenly pouring out. Brando was probably stunned, but for Rita, it was the moment she finally confronted the past right there on set in front of the rolling camera. Healing stability and lasting legacy. This truly shows Rita Moreno's inner strength. Even after being deeply wounded, she kept working, kept showing her talent. She refused to let personal tragedy derail her career. At the same time, these events were a harsh reminder that Hollywood was never a safe place for fragile hearts. It was an arena where women, especially women of color, had to fight twice as hard to be recognized, and often paid for it with their mental health. After everything that happened, Rita made the decision to cut all personal ties with Marlon Brando. She realized that staying connected to him would only drag her deeper into the cycle of pain. It was a difficult choice, but necessary if she wanted to start healing. Around the same time, her personal life began to change for the better. In 1965, she married Leonard Gordon, a cardiologist. Gordon was not only her husband, but later became her manager as well. He was a steady man who didn't look back, and he gave her a sense of peace she had never known with Brando. They had a daughter together, and the marriage lasted until 2010 when Leonard Gordon passed away. It was the longest and most stable relationship of Rita's life. While her time with Brando had been stormy and destructive with Leonard, she found respect, support, and a quiet family life. Gordon helped her manage her career, and together they built a home she could rely on after so many chaotic years. The difference between the two men was enormous, and Rita later said that this stability helped her finally move past the ghosts that still haunted her. Those awards were more than proof of talent, they were proof she had survived. Rita fought prejudice, fought typecasting, and fought her own inner wounds to reach those heights. She never sacrificed her pride to fit into the system. Instead, she used her experiences to become a powerful voice for diversity and change in Hollywood. She spoke out against stereotypical roles for Latinx actors and fought for performers of color to be seen and respected on their own terms. In the years that followed, Rita continued working on screen and on stage. She landed a role in the popular sitcom One Day at a Time, where she was embraced by a whole new generation of younger viewers. Her career stretched across more than 7 decades, and well into her later years, she remained a living legend, an inspiration to artists who came after her. She proved that even when Hollywood tried to squeeze you into a narrow mold, you could still break free and shine in your own way. Rita Moreno lived what she once called a wonderful life, even though she had to overcome so much. She always wanted to be big, and she achieved that and then some. She became a symbol of resilience, of never giving up your identity, and of the courage it takes to ask for help when you need it. Therapy saved her. A stable marriage anchored her, and her refusal to give up carried her to heights few people ever reach. In recent years, Rita continued to show just how fierce her spirit remained. She appeared in the sitcom One Day at a Time, where she received warm love from younger audiences. The role brought her more awards and acclaim, and it proved that Rita's talent had no expiration date. Well into her 80s, she was still a living legend, a woman who had spent more than 7 decades in the entertainment industry and still felt fresh and relevant. She had starred in major blockbusters, classic stage productions, and now continued inspiring people through television. Rita once said she always wanted to be big, and she did, and more. Her life, in her own words, was a wonderful life, despite everything she had to endure. She fought racial prejudice her entire life, fought Hollywood's exploitation, and fought the emotional scars left by unhealthy relationships. But she never gave up her Puerto Rican identity. She never lost her pride or her dignity. Instead, she turned her pain into fuel and kept moving forward, becoming the person she had dreamed of being since she was a 13-year-old girl stepping onto a Broadway stage. This story makes me think a lot about the lessons Rita's life holds for us today. First, it reminds us how important mental health really is. At a time when seeking therapy was still seen as weakness, Rita had the courage to admit she needed help, and she found healing because of it. That lesson still matters. No one should have to suffer alone, and asking for professional support is not failure. It's wisdom. Second, Rita's story shows what toxic relationships can do, especially when someone keeps looking for acceptance from a person who is simply incapable of giving it. Her brief involvement with Elvis Presley to make Brando jealous is a clear example of that painful cycle of revenge. Rita eventually recognized it and chose to break free. It's a reminder that we all deserve to be loved fully, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Third, her journey proves the power of staying and fighting. Instead of walking away from Hollywood because of its injustices, she stayed, raised her voice, and helped open doors for others. In a time when conversations about diversity and inclusion are still happening, Rita's legacy pushes us to keep going. She showed that a Latinx woman could achieve EGOT status, become an icon, and use that platform to create real change. Fourth, Rita teaches us about resilience and staying true to who you are. Even when she was pushed into limited roles and faced constant discrimination, she kept her vibrant smile and that anything goes spirit. She refused to let the industry reshape her into what they wanted. This lesson is for anyone who has ever felt pushed aside. You have every right to shine in your own way, and you have every right to demand respect. Finally, Rita's story reminds us how complicated human beings really are. Even legends carry scars. The fact that she still used Brando's cologne more than 50 years after their romance ended shows that some memories, even painful ones, can stay with us. But what matters most is not letting them control the present. Rita did exactly that. She lived fully, loved her family, gave everything to her art, and left behind a legacy far bigger than Hollywood ever expected from her. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to Ryan's Hollywood Uncovered so we can keep uncovering more untold stories from classic Hollywood together. Comment below and let me know which Hollywood figure you want me to explore next. Maybe another star with a dramatic life, or a secret from the golden era you're curious about. Your thoughts always mean a lot and help me keep bringing you the best content. I'll see you in the next videos where we'll keep turning the pages of Hollywood's most surprising and emotional stories. Wishing you all a great day, and remember, no matter what challenges life throws at you, you always have the strength to stand back up and shine in your own way.